G'day taxpayers. Good news on the inflation numbers that were just released. The annual headline inflation rate was 2.5%, right in the middle of the RBA's target for the second consecutive month. And if we look back at the recent history, we've now had 6 consecutive months that inflation's been below 3%, so in the 2 to 3% broader target range. And so I think we can declare victory in the fight against inflation. It's done. Looking at the trimmed mean, and the Reserve Bank like the trimmed mean, even if it's sort of a made-up number, but even so, its annual increase was 2.8% from 2.7% the previous month and around about 4% in the middle of last year. So we've got a clear step lower in the trimmed mean inflation rate, which again confirms that we can have a victory party in the fight against inflation. And of course, that feeds into interest rate cuts from the RBA. So 1 April, the next meeting of the RBA board is not only live, it should be really seriously contemplating lower interest rates, because we do know that the unemployment rate is ticking up. The economy is still reasonably sluggish. It's not growing at all that rapid a pace at the minute. We did see the effects of the earlier rate cut on consumer sentiment. It spiked up after the rate cut, so it's good news that interest rates do work. It's a really simple economics 101 issue that lower interest rates do spark stronger economic activity, and that's exactly what we need now. And these inflation numbers really not only open the door for a rate cut on the 1st of April, it'd take something extraordinary to come out between now and then for the RBA not to cut interest rates, such as the confidence that inflation's falling. And of course, the RBA did acknowledge that the current settings of monetary policy are still restrictive. And if you've got restrictive monetary policy, what does that mean for medium-term inflation? It skews lower, and it's now starting to skew lower because the RBA has been so slow in cutting interest rates, from inflation being at the midpoint. There's a real risk that unless we start seeing some pretty aggressive and consecutive rate cuts from the RBA, we're going to have inflation rate that is too low, and that's not a good thing. So great news on inflation. We're done.